So I know you can barely see this, but Carl and I just wanted you to know that we're still friends. It's been a little bit. I came out here to feed the ducks and geese, and Carl met me at the fence. So this is now Carl's dinner instead. He just needed a little bit of mom time. Now he's getting a little bit more brave. Oh, because the food is falling in. And this is just a scoop, and my fingers are on here. And he tends to really enjoy my new nail polish. And I don't necessarily want him to eat my fingernails right now. That's right, Carl. I said I just think this is a pretty intimate moment between the two of us. No one else is here. You're flapping your happy hands every once in a while to show, yes, those, to show me how wonderful that you are, because you are. And this is like breaking bread together, except for I'm not eating what you're eating tonight. You're having worms and some bird pellets, and well, I'm just, oh boy, I'm just not that into it. I'm not, and I'm sorry about that. Maybe I turn on the flash and see what that does. No flash. Okay, you're just really excited about what kind of dinner I brought to you. And I get it. I'm generally a good cook. I mean, Carl, for the most part, people like what I'm feeding them, and people like what I cook. It's not always like gourmet, but you know, it's decent. You like it though? You're a really big fan? That's good. I'm pleased about that. Uh-oh. Dad just came out and threw some feed over, and he was like, oh, I wonder what Dad made for dinner. Isn't that the truth? Sometimes when I was a kid and we would go to our dad's house, we would so brag on whatever he cooked because it was different. Although, looking back, it was never like glamorous. But dads that I know cook kid food, right? So while mom was always trying to get us to eat healthy and add vegetables in, boy, Carl, we can't hardly see you. Could you come back? My dad would be like, burgers, pizza, sloppy joe, fried fish, french fries. Oh, he could fry some french fries in a pot on the stove. Yep. And my mom would be like baking things, and by baking I mean like baked chicken and baked fish, and my dad would fry it. So of course as kids we were like, yeah, we want to eat at Dad's house. Well, Dad only had to do that 4 nights a month. So he could cook 4 nights a month with kids, I mean. So yeah, he could cook like food that was not so healthy and so great because, well, that's how he ate whenever he had kids. He wanted to make everybody happy. He didn't want to spend his 4 days a month arguing about finish your food and you'll eat whatever I cook. No, he didn't. And, you know, well, I'm sorry, Carl, I didn't mean to move that fast. I know it's dark. I scared him by making that noise of this on the fence. Do you want me just to dump it here on the post instead? Okay, there you go. I'll back up now. His happy hands are still flying. But yeah, as a kid, like, sometimes, you know, I say a lot that, you know, Dad gets to be the fun one. And in my life, that was true. In Xander's life, it was true. Because I got to deal with homework. And I got to deal with doctor's appointments and sick days and making sure that, you know, everybody was signed up for, or that, well, Xander was signed up for everything he needed to be signed up for, and that he had all the equipment to go with it. Carl, you look handsome as a shadow man. People are going to start to think that you're an extra tree here. But the dads got to be the fun ones because they could get all of their real life stuff done whenever the kids weren't there. And whenever they had the kids, like my dad had us kids, then all they had to do was focus on kids. I know that that's how a lot of court things work out, but I do think that the kids that spend 50-50 time, they get more realistic view of parenting from both sides, because you can't spend an entire week doing the fun. You have to participate in some of the real as well. Carl, we can't even see your neck because it's so dark. What the heck's he running for? I wish that you could see what I'm seeing right now, but he just ran all the way over there to the edge. Boy, it's getting too dark. Maggie, let's turn on the light. What do you think? Well, now, not only can you not see Carl, but all you can see are fuzzy lights. I was hoping that this was, oh my Lord. Maggie, this has gone so south, baby. I'm out here trying to capture what little bit of sunlight is left, and it's just failing. I thank you for staying by my side and protecting me, though. I think that she might have been worried about me and Carl out here, but you know, Carl and I have never had an issue. Okay, let's turn this light back off. You know, nature has a big resemblance to what I'm talking about here. Here's Joan and her babies, okay? Still in the nursery, even though the door is wide open, okay? She comes and goes as she pleases, and this is where she chooses to sleep with them. But you know who you don't see here? Dad. Dad doesn't sit on the eggs. Dad doesn't come to give her a break. Dad doesn't come to make sure they're fed, or if they're sick, stay with them, or really to participate in anything. Dad, in nature, does his thing and never looks back. Isn't that weird? I'm sure that's where some of the original, like, things came from when people started to get divorced, or, you know, as the legal stuff came from. I'm sure that there was like, well, look what happens in nature. They really need their mom. They need, you know, which is true. But I also think that kids need both parents. Kids need that fun side. Kids need the discipline side and the nurturing. And I mean, if it takes two to do it, to create life, shouldn't it take two to sustain life? I know I'm preaching to a choir here, and there's both sides, and there's all kinds of circumstances. Believe me, I've lived through many of them. I don't know. I'm envious of the dads who got to be the fun dad all the time, who didn't have to be the one to say, no, it's time for bed. No, you got to do your homework. You know, you just like find yourself as a mom saying no way more often than you ever want to. You don't want to be that person. No mom does. No mom wants to be the person who is like the downer, the one who has to make the rules, the one who has to basically be not fun a lot of the time. Take them to their doctor's appointments, get the shot, make sure they get to the dentist, make sure that they go to the eye doctor, make sure that they get to school on time and get to bed on time, and that they get to their practices and picked up, and have all the things that, you know, life says we need to do. It's mom 99% of the time, at least in my world. I know there are exceptions to this, but I'm generalizing. So I don't even know how Dad's cooking. That's how this started. Because Carl was like, oh, Dad brought something delicious. When in reality, my cooking was just fine, Moo. It was just fine. They're eating Dad's cooking too. Because why? Because Dad put out some of his wacky loco weed, is what he calls it, which happens to be green hay. And everybody goes nuts over it, because it's something different. Everybody, they're all staying for the most part in one place, finishing their dinner tonight and not leaving anything behind, because it is something delicious and different. Look at Moo, is seriously walking around with it in his mouth, hoping that he can find some more. Not even chewing the whole way, letting it, storing it in his cheeks while he tries to find more. Gosh, Dad's cooking. Yep. Moo, you think I'll be lucky enough to walk inside and Dad will be cooking me dinner too?